So last lesson we talked about phonemes versus morphemes, the basic units, phonemes being those distinctive sound units, morphemes being the parts of language which actually comprise meaning. I usually just remember like phonics, like Hooked on Phonics is about putting sounds together, whereas morphemes is about meaning, so I just try to use the beginning of the words to help me remember. In this lesson, the second one on language structure, we're going to talk about grammar, syntax, and semantics. So the definition of grammar is in a language, a system of rules that enables us to communicate with and understand others. Now, grammar is comprised of two categories. First category that we have is what is known as semantics. As you can see here, defined as a set of rules by which we derive meaning from morphemes, words, and sentences in a given language, also the study of meaning. The second subsection of grammar is what is known as syntax, defined here as the rules for combining words into grammatically sensible sentences in a given language. So what does this really mean? I find semantics and syntax are very easily confused, so I'll give you a couple of examples of what semantics is all about, and then a couple of examples of what syntax is all about. So here we have two different words. We have the word park and we have the word parked. Semantics tells us that by adding this ed to the end of the word, we are making it past tense. So we're changing the meaning. That's just a rule of thumb we have in English. If you add ed, you make something past tense. If you add an s, you make something plural. So these are just the rules that govern our meaning in language, as opposed to syntax, which is all about the order of words as they're presented to you. So if you want to kind of compare syntax of a couple of different languages, here in English it is the norm to put adjectives in front of nouns. So if you wanted to describe a house, you would say that was white, you would say it is a white house. But other languages, for example Spanish, like to put adjectives after nouns. So if you're not familiar with Spanish, the word house is casa and the word white is blanca. So instead of having white in front of house, you now have it after. And so that's just a little bit of a distinction between the way that we combine words and the way other languages do. So this ordering of words is what syntax is all about. So if you look at the example could possibly be a newspaper headline, stolen painting found by tree. The syntax here is proper. All of the rules for combining words, they're fine. But the semantics very much change. We could either say that, there's a painting that had been stolen, which they located sitting next to a tree, or you can understand it semantically as a tree went out and searched for the stolen painting and actually found it. So syntax and semantics are very different, both components of grammar, and it's all about the way that we put words together and how putting those words together allows us to interpret meaning from them.